Michael Perez is back again for today's property wealth workout of the day, a wealth wide. This one's awesome. I've got a question here that's been sent in, and it's such a good one. I'll read it for you. If I buy a new property, i.e. land and build, how do I know if the retail price is good? Also, from your experience, how much room is there for negotiating the land price and the construction price? Now, this is great. One thing I get really passionate about is helping people understand the building industry and how it works. The building industry is notorious for taking advantage of people that don't understand how it works. And as a result, what can look like an amazing gift-wrapped option can actually end up being a really expensive mistake. Before I get into the build, let's touch on land. Now, land retail price is pretty easy to check out. So most developers will have websites and they'll be able to say what lots are selling for what price, and that's the price that you should be paying. Any more, it's kind of shark territory. But have a look at what the developer's charging as a retail price, and that will be cross-check it against other developers in the area, if there are so, and you'll see that the retail price is pretty stable. The build is a little bit more complex. Now, with respect to building, there are three key tactics that builders use to make things look fantastic, but always not always what it seems. The first tactic is phantom properties. Now, phantom properties are properties that don't actually exist. So, builder A will advertise online, and most of these tactics are done online, by the way. On realestate.com.au and domain.com.au and so forth. A property will not actually exist. So lot XYZ might have already been sold. It might not be available to that builder. For whatever reason, they package it up and make it look like it's a viable property option. Now, guaranteed, that property will not separate land price and build price. What they will do is they'll give it a combined package price, and it will be dirt cheap. It'll be basically for the shell of the house, so the slab, the roof, and the four walls in between. Maybe some bricks around that if you're lucky. Okay, so that leads into the second one, which says lot XYZ from a certain price with a nice little asterisk. And the nice little asterisk is basically conditions apply. Now, there are an absolute range of things that might be. I don't have time today to go into all of them, but a few of the really common ones. Doesn't include landscaping, doesn't include driveway, letterbox, clothesline, fixtures and fittings, air conditioning, will only allow an allowance for fencing, not necessarily the whole amount. So really, what they're saying is, here's a base price, it looks really attractive, people pick up the phone, and then they say, oh, well, come and check out the house. They walk you through a display home that's kitted out to the nines, and they're making serious margin and markup on all of the differences between the shell price and the finished product. Okay. The third one are supposed full turnkey properties. Now, this one's a little bit more, there's a bit more detail in this one. It's a little bit harder to tell. So what they'll generally do is on the listing, they'll say full turnkey property with all of these inclusions. And when you look at that inclusions list, you go, yeah, that's pretty comprehensive. But they'll generally have, for example, it includes an M-class slab. Now, for most homes, you might need an H-class slab. And the difference between those two can generally be about $5,000. Okay? Allowances for fencing, allowances for landscaping that are well under what you'd actually have to pay. Allowances for everything else and so forth, and certain things not included that are essential to an investment property in terms of tenant appeal, i.e. heating, cooling, so on and so forth, quality fixtures and fittings. Okay, so there's a snapshot, guys, on some of the pitfalls of the building industry and what they do, and why, most importantly, with your online research, you must compare apples with apples. Okay, apples and oranges doesn't work, you'll get caught out and end up paying a lot more. Interesting exercise, we actually rang a builder in Brisbane who's notorious for this these kind of tactics. Rang as a mystery shopper, and we did a full assessment against their inclusions and pricing got that costed by different builders and so forth, and the end result was what looked like being about 25 grand cheaper than what we would generally get for clients, ended up being as much as 15 to 19,000 more expensive for the same thing. So apples with apples is a major thing. Prices can vary. You need to be on top of that. Okay, so understand how the building industry works, understand that you're comparing apples with apples, and that's the best way to ensure that you're getting value for money. With respect to negotiation on land and build, on the land side of things, it really depends on the market. If the market's pumping and there's a lot of activity and a lot of sales activity, you're not going to get a discount. If the market's really quiet and the developer's providing incentives to try and shift some stock, you may be able to get a discount, but you need to be asking yourself, is it worth that discount to buy a property in that area, i.e. make some quick money or a quick saving? Is that property going to grow in value in the same time frame as buying a better located property? On the build side of things, generally negotiating power, like anything, comes down to volume. So if you are dealing with a builder and have dealt with them for a long time, you have a track record and you're giving them a large amount of volume, kind of similar to what we do, then yeah, you'd be able to get discounts on retail price most of the time. If you're going as a one-off client to the builder, probably not so much. You may be lucky, but probably not. The most important thing to realise though, when you're looking at this negotiating power and bringing builders especially down on price, is you want to have them motivated to build for you. Two key reasons. You want the quality to be good and you want the time frames to be good. So I've known people in the past that have crunched builders down to pay $5,000 less than what I've paid them, but that builder is making less money on that job than what they are on my job, and they take 3 months longer to do it. Work out the bank interest that you pay over those 3 months, and even though I paid 5 grand more on my build, in the grand scheme of things, I'm actually a few grand in front. So there you go guys, bit of detail today, but a fantastic question about land price and build price and negotiating power. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.